Welcome to this final part of Diaspora Scholars TV, where we bring you stories about the journeys of students and scholars who've left their motherland to come to the US to study and to better their careers. We've been hearing the story of Celine, who came from Rwanda, and she's been here since she joined middle school. But she's done quite a bit of things. And if you watched our other shows, you've been able to see how Celine has been able to balance out her education, her teaching at the same time, managing her nonprofit located there in Rwanda, and she's really doing great. But then again, of course, she's a gym instructor as well.
That might be a lie.
You're not a gym instructor?
No.
Somebody told me, like, if you want to go to the gym
Yeah.
and be regular at the gym, talk to Celine.
I can encourage people. I'm a good encourager. But the gym one, I think that person was embellishing the story.
Somebody was embellishing the story.
Yes, and that person is not me.
But
so
you go to the gym nevertheless.
I do. I love actually when I am encouraged, when I am in a good place. I love to do even like swimming.
Even swimming?
Yes, we have inside pool at my gym, so you can do some swimming, and it's a good way to lose weight, especially when you come to the US. And
swimming as well? Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay. I wish I could swim. Somebody.
Yeah, it's so a good one.
I mean, physical fitness is key to also to,
yes,
of course, good health, right?
Yes, and especially also in the US when I first came, and it's still something that I'm still learning how to do better. The food here is very different than back home. So even when you think you're just eating normal food, sometimes because of the chemicals, the preservatives, the things that are in it, your body starts to change. You start to gain weight. So and then you sit all the time. A lot of
because
the cities,
you're sitting, studying, and all that. Yeah.
And a lot of the cities here, they're not even walkable. So you're always in a car or in the bus. So you're not walking. You're not doing a lot of physical activity. So it's so important. I feel like when you come to the U.S. as a student, to figure out a way to make sure that you're doing some type of activity to also stay healthy physically as well.
Which is really good, and there are many gyms in the US that you can simply walk to, right?
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of it, but I think it's more that motivation piece.
The motivational piece.
Yes, someone to encourage you, especially once you start studying. It's busy. So many different things are happening. You might start to push it to the side, but I would actually say if you're coming to, especially to college here, it's they have a thing here in America. They say the freshman 15.
Okay, what is that? Freshman 15.
The freshman 15 is when you gain
15 pounds.
But
as a freshman, right?
Yes, but to my college, we actually called it the freshman 50.
It is more than 3 times more.
Yes, because we had a lot of we had something called the dessert dilemma, like usually like every week. So dessert dilemma, it's a dilemma because they give you so many choices of desserts. So it's a dilemma.
What are they expecting?
Because so you're eating just you're stressed because of your exam. You have a brownie, you have a cookie, you have ice cream. So when you're coming, especially for me coming from Rwanda, where I even ice cream, you don't really get ice cream often. It's special occasion.
It could be a birthday gift.
Yes. So when you now have it every week, you're just eating and eating, and you're not thinking about the health and the weight. Yeah. So I say for college students is maybe be more mindful than I was, because I gained definitely that freshman 50. I did. So I had to learn how to start working out and
reversing that.
Okay. Yes.
Wow, you mentioned something as when you were speaking that what was this among the things when you came? Because I see you've already mentioned like okay, you came and there are these opportunities where you can different varieties of desserts and all that. Before you know it, you have gained weight. But what is the other culture shocker that that you met that when you came? I mean, I know you are still pretty young.
Yeah.
So. What were the major cultural shocks that hit you really hard, in terms of comparing the U.S. and Rwanda, even at that young age?
Yeah. So there's a lot, but I would say the one probably that I can focus on for right now, because I think it will will relate to a lot of maybe our viewers. I'm not sure. I might be assuming it is time.
Time.
Yes. So in America, just in terms of like getting to places on time, the way that they
Yes.
consider time, even in terms of assignments.
That
Like,
one has come up a lot. I was interviewing a student in Indianapolis.
yes,
He's a PhD student, and he said that when he came, he was shocked that at 5 p.m. sharp, the meeting got started. And he was like, it's only 15 minutes past time. And so he was really late. So
yes.
here, time management can hit you really hard.
Oh, yes.
You have to learn how to deal with it and be good at it. Otherwise, it's going to be tough. And you talk of assignments, deadlines.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's especially because
The 11:59 thing.
exactly. So, and procrastination.
Yeah.
So all of that. But I think here, it's if you can manage that. 'Cause I think sometimes back home it could be a suggestion. The time. it's not. It's more of a suggestion than a hard
yeah,
deadline. So,
yeah.
but here they mean it. So I've learned. This is something I'm still learning. But in the big things, especially that are due, I learned how to
make sure you submit your assignments on time.
Yes, you're getting to those places on time. Yes, there's certain things I'm still late to, but those are also low stakes because again, you can't change yourself completely. Very,
but you just have to set high standards and endeavor to reach them all the time.
Exactly. So that would probably be an advice I would say is that timing one was big. Even walking though.
Okay.
I just remember that when I first came, a lot of my friends, even still today, they walk very fast. But
okay,
so
I mean that's an interesting one.
Yes,
and that's I mean I've lived in Rwanda. I was there, and one time people were like, "Why are you too fast?" People,
yes, so in Rwanda culturally, it's slow. You gotta take your time. Because if you're rushing, it's almost as if it's not even graceful.
Yeah, actually, some people would think that you are rude because it's like you are trying to outcompete other people. Yeah, so that's a different culture for sure.
Yes. So here, when I'm walking with friends too, I'm slowing down. But in everything, actually, even eating, sometimes I would be the last one to finish, and so they have to wait for me.
Okay.
And so in a lot of things, I think here there's a way of doing things fast.
In fact, talking of even eating, I mean, here people eat while walking.
Yes.
And in many parts of Africa, you can hardly see anybody carrying even a drink and drinking while walking, right?
Yes. And so, because here it's almost, just everything is like time. So you rushing. And there's good parts of it, but I think there's also actually beauty and how we do also things back home.
Yeah, sure.
That's even true. In that digestion, actually, because sometimes I'm like, let me sit down and eat properly and digest.
Exactly, yeah.
Because sometimes I realize when I'm rushing and I'm eating, that's just where I'm not even conscious of what I'm putting into my body, and that's where the weight issues comes in, health, and yes.
Yeah, so, and you are more likely to eat fast foods because it's fast, right?
Yeah, so that's another one. I think just the timing of everything, even speaking. Just sometimes if you're speaking slower or not even loud, that was also a thing where people think like, what are you saying?
What are you really saying?
Yeah, so they want you to speak louder.
Because culturally in some parts of Africa, speaking slowly and quite more, with a low voice is meant to be like speaking respectfully.
Yes.
And so you tend to speak more slowly and in low tones because you are trying to be more respectful.
Yes.
But not quite that here.
Here sometimes it could actually be said as like you are not, what's the word? Just kind of like, I don't want to say the word intelligent, but sometimes when you're speaking, let's say slower,
they think you're not smart enough.
Yes, you're not thinking fast. So here I've definitely seen there's a value of like quickness and so, but I think as a person you have to decide how to navigate that. Because for me, I still don't speak probably as fast or as loud as they would like, but I try also to meet in the middle. So that
also reminds me, and probably even in classroom you could see the difference. Students are very loud, they are very talkative, they really want to participate, and so that was a bit different, right?
Yes, it was definitely a big culture shock as well. Just the classrooms here and back home. I think back home sometimes in a lot of African cultures, it's when an adult is speaking, oftentimes like the children are silent.
Yeah.
But here it's also about that, like the student voice. I feel it's big here as well. So it's not just, and sometimes the students, they say you have to earn their respect. You have to earn. So whereas respect. I feel like back home it's usually a given. If you're an adult and a child, then you pay attention. Whereas here it's part of, at least where I've worked, is part of the culture of like you have to earn sometimes the respect. So sometimes before you've earned it, you do sometimes then see that just sometimes you can have some challenge experiences of just kind of connecting with your students because they still don't know who you are. They haven't
and you know you just have to find a way to make them understand, like, hey, this is who I am.
Yes.
It doesn't really mean that I am whom you think I am.
Yes.
Yeah. So at some point, obviously, you'll be able to create a relationship. And from the way you speak, you are a very successful teacher, I must say, this far. You know, you've studied education all along. You're about to graduate. I mean, it's obviously very commendable, and you seem to have overcome all those culture shocks and even been able to fit in and reverse some of the bad habits you think were coming in, which is really, really good. And obviously, it's many viewers, who are aspiring to be like you, young girls, etc., should be able to be inspired by your story.
Yeah, there was something I wanted to add to that.
Sure.
As you were speaking, you made me think about when you said relationship building. That's another advice that I would give to the viewers, is to really to care about relationships, because the place that I've gotten to, a lot of it has been also because of valuing relationships. Whether it is small, it doesn't have to be that you're building a relationship with people that you feel like have connections, but with anybody. So whether it was with my students, whether it was with their families, their parents, whether it's my colleagues. So for me, like I just like seeing people as people, and not just as like a way for me to get to the next place or this, but actually valuing those relationships and people even who come into the school buildings to clean. And so really just making sure you engage with them, you say hello, you acknowledge them. And it's just, I've found for me, I've gotten so far in my life because of also valuing people and valuing relationships and
building meaningful relationships.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you are spot on that. I remember reading a book, I can't remember which one, but most likely a better way, to live. And some of the things they, provide in that book that can help you to live better, they say that try to create a meaningful relationship, even with people whom you'll never be able to work together. There are people you meet every day. Maybe you pass by the receptionist.
Yes.
Maybe, it's a cleaner on the restroom, is a waiter you have never met.
Yes.
Try to connect with them, and you'll be amazed at how things can turn, in your favor and in their favor as well. So, that's really, really, really good advice. Wow. Look at that camera, Celine. And the people who are watching you, what else can you need to succeed? Obviously, you have great plans. It's time for you to share some of those plans that you have. I know you're about to graduate. Are you looking for a job? What do you want to do in future? We've mentioned a lot about the nonprofits that you have in Rwanda, and many other things. So what can you appeal to somebody watching out there who's inspired by your story? How can they support what you are doing?
So I think that's to be honest, that's a big question for me.
I knew it is a big question, and particularly because you are very humble. You draw a lot of strength in. You said God. So in many matters, you say like God is in control. You also would prefer to pray of what you need and communicate directly to God, other than to other people.
Yes.
But they are watching, and it's the same